All this talk about NAR selling for almost $500 million, it means absolutely nothing for new real estate agents. And let me tell you why. What's good, family? I'm Martez Kelly, the part-time entrepreneur, and my goal with this channel is actually help 100 young black men build better futures using part-time hours. Now, I'm a real estate agent, and most of you guys are or considering it, which is why you decided to click on this video. And you really want to know why this settlement that the National Association of Realtors is and everybody is talking about, why it doesn't matter for new real estate agents. Now, I did spend time researching and building out a process and a plan for this video. And with that being the case, I actually want to point out 4 things that you guys can expect. I will leave chapters in this video as well, so you guys can actually bounce around. The first thing I want to touch on is, what are those changes? Number 2, the different mindsets that I see new real estate agents and current real estate agents starting to adapt. Number 3 is my opinion on a successful approach. And then the 4th thing is why it doesn't matter at all. Now, if you stick around, I do leave a nugget somewhere in there for you guys, but let's jump into number 1. Number 1, you are now required to sign a buyer's representation agreement, or whatever your state calls that, before you even show the first house. The second thing, sellers are no longer required to pay the buyer's commission, but they can off the MLS, and I'll get into that later on. And the last thing that a lot of people are starting to talk about, you now have to negotiate your commission now on the buyer side and the seller side, which is fair. All of these changes don't come into effect right away, and they are subject to court approval, but the idea of NAR actually taking the buyer's commission off the MLS, this actually goes into effect July 2024, and I wouldn't be surprised to see people actually adopting to these changes right away, because that effect is coming regardless of what the court has to say. Now, here are a few things that I actually wanted to point out with this being the case. Not all licensed real estate agents are realtors, and I will create a video on that. I think I did one a long time ago, but keep that in mind. Not all licensed real estate agents are realtors. And then the last thing I wanted to point out is some sellers will still decide to pay a buyer's agent. Like I said before, it just has to be off the MLS. Now, with that being the case, if you like what you're hearing so far, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. The next thing, let's jump into mindsets. So there's 2 different mindsets that I've seen. One is Ricky Carruth. And if you don't know Ricky Carruth, I highly suggest you checking out his channel. But I am going to link to the video down below that I watched of him, and I love his approach. His idea is, because of these changes, a lot of people may be leaving the industry, a lot of people may be turned off from the industry, but he suggests that you actually dive in, go all in on this change, really diving in and making yourself a dominant force in your area during certain things like different ways of marketing or social media, or being that person to say, hey, I don't mind what changes they make, I still will represent you. He is saying, this is the game. This is the rule. It is what it is. Dive head first into these changes. The next thing, and I actually love this person because I was actually inspired by this person to get my real estate license. That's Changes J Miles. And a lot of you guys should know about him, but if not, like I said, I'll link to his channel as well. His approach is on the complete opposite side, and I'll put this post up where you guys can actually see, and I'll actually pull it up on my phone as well so I can read it verbatim. So it says, Changes J Miles controversial move helping realtors become mortgage loan officers after NAR commission shakeup. And that's an approach as well. Like I said, I just want to show you the different mindsets that I'm seeing before I dive into the approach that I plan on taking, and before I actually jump into why this doesn't matter for new real estate agents. Now, here's a little nugget that I actually wanted to put in for you guys. And if you made it to this point, drop a thumbs up emoji in the comment section. The little nugget is that I think these are the people that will be most hurt or harmed by this change. One is real estate agents buying leads offline, whether that's Zillow, Realtor.com. The idea of getting a lead pop up and they want to see a house, and before you even walk in the house, having to explain to them, hey, you need to sign this document, basically marrying me, and you also need to commit to some form at some percentage paying me. That's going to be tough. And then the last thing is first time home buyers. A lot of people are talking about them doing it on their own, but a real estate transaction is not as simple as people think. But this, if you decide to get representation and pay for it, this actually hurts first time home buyers because you have to take on a lot more responsibility, and it's really going to be tough for them. But with that being said, here is the possible approach that I think everybody, especially new real estate agents, or what my mind went to as soon as I heard the news. And that's becoming more of a consultant and actually taking a consultant approach to this. If you haven't, I already explained this on TikTok. If you haven't followed me on TikTok, Martez_Kelly. And this is the approach that I want to take. So if the buyer doesn't want to pay you 2.5 or 3%, you can say, hey, this is what I'll do. You pay me X $1,000. And what I'll do, you go look at the houses however you want. I can actually open doors for you as well. What we'll actually do is I'll give you access to my network. That'll be lenders, that'll be inspectors, title companies, a lot of different people that we know that we can refer you to directly who will treat you well and have solid work. And then I'll be on demand to put in an offer and negotiate on your behalf and give you a checklist of things that are required for you to close. My wife's calling me. Negotiate on your behalf and give you a checklist of the things that are actually required. And you only have to pay me once you get officially under contract. And I'm talking about past the inspection period and all these different things. But once you're officially under contract and there's nothing that could possibly hinder the deal, that's when you pay me X amount of dollars. Now, be sure to check with your broker about this because I'm sure for service or doing any type of real estate related thing, you have to be paid through your broker. So make sure you run this by them before you even think about practicing it or trying it with anybody. This is just what my mind went to automatically. Now, with that being said, here is why this actually does not matter at all when it comes to new real estate agents. And I picked this up when I was actually doing research for this topic. And that is the rules are now the rules. And there's nothing you can actually do about it. You think about it like this. The guy said when the NBA actually introduced the 3-point line, a lot of people actually had to adjust. Some people hated it, some people loved it. Now you have somebody like Steph Curry. And I love that analogy because I love sports. The next thing that I actually wanted to bring up to you guys, if you have kids or you have grandkids, you don't have to teach a child how to use a phone. It's basically born in their hands. For a new real estate agent, this is the way that you've never experienced any other way before this. And with that being the case, use that to your advantage. Everybody else that's in the game now has to unlearn and relearn. You basically start fresh. You're like, hey, well, this is the way that it is. Use that to your advantage. Become an expert. People will maybe be relying on you at some point and they'll be paying for your services and paying you to teach them how to do certain things because you've actually championed this change and you've actually dominated and said, hey, I know this is exactly how I do it. And a lot of people that really they're going through that process right now where it's like, I really don't want to do this. I really disagree with this. And I actually want to go be a mortgage loan originator or mortgage loan officer. Like they just want to abandon the whole thing. For new real estate agents, you don't have to unlearn anything. Champion this. Dive in, go all in on this whole new way of being a real estate agent. Real estate transactions will still go on. People will still buy real estate. Why not be a champion? Why not go out and be the best at this new change? Why not dive all in? But with that being said, I really do appreciate you guys for tuning into this video. Hopefully you were able to pull a lot from it, and let me know in the comment section down below if you agree with my approach, if you agree with what I said, or if you completely disagree. I'm open to all feedback and I'm willing to learn myself. Now, I really do love you guys. We're almost at 5,000 subscribers. If you haven't already, please click right here to subscribe. YouTube suggests you watching this video, but I really think this playlist right here will actually be better. Much love. Peace.